It is really, really important that these events are happening, that we're having an opportunity to come together as a people to talk about our future, to talk about governance in Nigeria. Some of you who might be older would agree with me that in 1999, you wouldn't have this kind of response and this kind of robust conversation before elections. And so as a people, I think it's fair for us to acknowledge that we are making significant progress in enlarging the conversation between the governed and government. Whether they listen to us is another issue altogether. But the most important thing is that at least we are speaking. In an election of this nature, in an environment where across board, across the two major political parties and amongst all the political parties, we agree as a people that we can do better than we are doing in terms of the progress of the country. We agree that Nigeria can be much ahead. We agree that Nigeria can be a bigger leader. We agree that Nigeria can be a better country. At least everybody agrees on that. Perhaps what is in contention is the how of achieving that better and more prosperous Nigeria. The Nigeria we're talking about cannot be without all of us in this room. And one interesting thing I heard one day is that all the elective offices in Nigeria put together is frankly not up to 10,000. All the elective offices, state assembly members, national assembly members, governors, chairmen, not up to 10,000. And we have a country of wherever you're coming from, 150, 160, 170 million people. And I think it is important for us to understand we cannot allow an insignificant percentage of the country to determine how the country is run. It is our duty as citizens, it is our duty as people who want to be alive and have a happy life to dictate and determine how these less than 10,000 people can run this country. And this is what we're doing here today. I know there is a high level of frustration because sometimes we feel that the leaders are not listening to us. But the turnout here today, the fact that the political parties make an effort to come here every time we ask them to come and speak to us is a clear message that we no longer can be taken for granted. And so this is the opportunity for us to ask the questions, to bring to the table some of the important things we want this government or whichever government is going to come in to do. And in doing that, and let me be clear, this is not just a talking exercise. In the next 6 months, in the next 1 year, we are going to hold them accountable for everything they say to us here today and everything they've been saying to us in the last 6 months. You know, when you want to marry a woman, you turn into a poet. You know all the good shops in the country. You do all of that. You even turn into a cook. And then when the woman enters the house, you sit down in the living room and tell her, go to the kitchen and get me food. We will not go to the kitchen and get them food. We will sit in the living room and they will go and get us food.
Well, we're looking at the political parties and their manifestos and how those, the contents of those manifestos are going to be impacting on the lives of the average Nigerian citizen. Even though I said that it is your session, I cannot but ask the very first question and to ask the APC to tell us in summary what the manifesto of the APC looks at, drives at in terms of Nigeria's national development.
I must say that we are not particularly pleased to be here alone without the PDP because one, it will appear as if we are taking undue advantage of them. But the truth of the matter is that they've simply refused to turn up. We did debate for many hours outside whether we should also be here, but we felt that we owe it to you, and we owe it to Nigerians, that even if they are not here, we tell you at least what you have come to listen to. Thank you very much. Now, any government should be about the people. Any government's policy or politics or program that is not people-centered, then it's not a good policy, it's not a good program, and it's not good politics. So the first thing APC did on being merged together, because if you remember, APC is the outcome of the merger that took place between the former AC and the former AMPP and the former CPC. The first thing we did was to undertake a large-scale survey that involved over 29,000 Nigerians all over Nigeria to ask them precisely, what do you people of Nigeria think is the most important thing to you? What will you like in the new government? What do you lack in the current government? We did not arrogate to ourselves the monopoly of wisdom, of knowing what Nigerians want, or how we could move Nigeria forward. At the end of this exercise, it came clear to us that three issues were most germane in the minds of Nigerians. The first, by a margin of 3-1, was job, jobs, jobs. In other words, Nigerians believe that the number one problem today is unemployment. They saw number two problem as corruption. And saw number three problem as insecurity.
The manifestos of political parties are not readily made available to Nigerians. There's so much emphasis, as it were, that is placed on having these things on the net. It's a very limited number of Nigerians, a very small percentage of Nigerians have access to the internet. Now, why is it impossible for the APC to make your manifestos into small handbooks in various languages and distribute to Nigerians?
Well, thank you. I think it's just if you've attended some of our programs in the last couple of weeks, you will notice that a small pamphlet is normally distributed that is titled "My Covenant with Nigeria," which is an abridged version of our manifesto. It's unfortunate we don't have copies here. I was actually hoping I will be able to bring some copies to share with this audience. But we are the only party that has done that. And it contains everything that you can hope to find in our manifesto.
You have promised that you will create about 3 million jobs in the first 1 year. And we've been hearing so much about job creation, job creation. I want to know how you intend to create these jobs.
We are going to reorganize the way we educate young people to make them functional members of the society. What did China do? While Americans were producing aeronautic engineers and robotic engineers and space scientists, China was busy producing technicians. And it's these technicians that have formed the basis for the transformation of the Chinese economy into the biggest economic force on earth today. We cannot continue to educate our young people the same way that we've educated them in the 60s. That's what APC is saying.
Should Nigerians be worried about continuity if the APC eventually comes in?
I saw some APC officers there speaking before. They said that they will make 5,000 available to every person with disability every month. My question is, what do you think that 5,000 will do for a person with disability?
I strongly agree that your manifesto, your party manifesto, is a contract between your political party and the Nigerian people. Is it possible that you can move a step further and not just make it a contract, but make it an accountable contract?
What do you intend to do to curb the issue of piracy?
On very many occasions, we've been having meetings with the persons with disability. Two things has always been on the front burner. Building plans to get accessibility for persons with disability. Two, is there any discriminatory process in your political party that deny any one of them to aspire to a higher position in the land? If there is, how do you intend to repeal that?
If this was a football game, this would be a walkover because PDP did not come. So it's a walkover. So vote for APC.